Good morning. Well, it's morning to me. It's Saturday, May 26th. Last time I made a video was right after my psych appointment with Dr. Sarah Miner in Tacoma through the Kaiser Tacoma. I had a horrible appointment with her. I felt like it was kind of a rushed appointment. I felt like she didn't ask me very clear questions. I felt kind of tricked at the end of it and ended up with her believing that I had a diagnosis of binge eating, which I was very upset about because I did not believe that was true. I also am just very, as a person who's working to be a social worker, I am very aware of what giving somebody a diagnosis can do. And I was very frustrated that she landed there and, was giving me this like unspecified eating disorder diagnosis because she felt like I had an eating disorder, but she wasn't sure which one. So that was a really bad appointment for me. And then it took a little while to get her recommendation or her referral to the specialist place. So the place I ended up going was really great. It's called the Emily Project. It was called the Emily Program. And there's one in Lacey, and I don't know where else they are, but they're just, specialist organization just for eating disorders. And so I really think that we should just go there to begin with. I don't think that we ever should have had to go to Sarah Miner. I don't think anybody should ever go to Sarah Miner. That's just my true opinion. So I met with another specialist there, and she did a much more thorough evaluation. I was there for about 4 hours, maybe 3.5. Did a questionnaire on on a tablet, which I was expecting. This is all what I was expecting of the appointment with Sarah, but hers was just not the same at all. It was much more rushed and not clear. And I, out the gate, just when I went in with the psychologist, I was like, look, my last appointment didn't go very well. And, told her these reasons I just told you. And so I said, I'm going to ask you to clarify your questions, and I'm going to probably over clarify mine because I feel like I was very misunderstood and I don't appreciate that. So I did that, and she was very willing to explain exactly what she is asking to me, and it was just a much better appointment. And I told her more about my background and kind of my perspective on the questions that she was asking me so that she'd know exactly what I was answering and what I was saying. At the end of the appointment, she said that she does not diagnose me with any eating disorder. She doesn't diagnose me with anything, and that she thinks that the last person was confused because of the diet that I've been trying to be on for the weight loss surgery. Because I was answering a lot of questions in real time with Sarah. She didn't really specify if she wanted me not to answer them like that. And so, like, for instance, one of the questions was like, when do you feel like you've eaten a large amount of food? Maybe that's not how she worded it, but when I'm on this diet and it's like 3 protein shakes and 2 low calorie meals, of course I thought back to, when I ate that meal that wasn't low calorie, that was... And that's not overeating. That's not compulsive eating. That's not binge eating. It's too many calories for the diet that I'm on. It was a normal size meal that I would have normally eaten. And so anyways, like, that was one of her examples as to why I was a binge eater. And it just wasn't, it's just not accurate. So anyways, this place, the Emily Program, their psychologist who's amazing. I saw Gwen, I think it was Ingram Jones. She was really great, just really warm, really understanding. She wrote a letter, of her recommendation, which is nothing, and sent that in for me. And then I also, she gave me a copy, so I also sent that in to my case manager. And then I kind of expected that my response from my case manager would be, okay, now we can schedule pre-op, but it wasn't, because there's always something, right? So her response is that it needs to be reviewed thoroughly by, I was supposed to turn there, by a provider. I guess maybe a mental health provider. And she said the earliest that she thinks that can happen is on the 30th. I was really actually confused by it because I was, at first she said she'd emailed, because, I just messaged her on the message thing, and she emailed back and said, that it needed to be reviewed at the bariatric conference by providers at the bariatric conference. And I was like, can we just talk on the phone? Because I'm really confused as to why this letter on behalf of, me is so complexing that it needs to be like reviewed by a conference of surgeons. So I don't know what that was all about, but she did call me. She called me right away, actually, which was really great. She was really nice. She didn't really give me much more information than that she doesn't get to approve the letter because it's not her scope, and that somebody else needs to approve it that has that scope. I think I'm just confused because I thought that was the whole point of getting a different evaluation. Like, the person who has the scope to say that it is what it is the person who wrote the letter. So I'm not sure why that letter isn't enough for me to just go forward and make a pre-op appointment and get a date for surgery. But maybe it is, and maybe this is just like a protocol piece that they need to do, and maybe I'm just, I don't know, sensitive now because the diagnosis from Sarah Minor feels like it's like this lifelong diagnosis that is wrong, but I can't get past. So maybe I'm just a little annoyed and a little sensitive about it. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm waiting for the weight loss surgery program to view this letter and decide if it's an appropriate letter to tell them that I'm good, I guess, and I can have the pre-op appointment scheduled. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm really hoping that's not going to take very long. My kiddo is going to be on a cruise with his dad in July, and middle of July, and I'd really love to be able to have the surgery while he's gone, because that's the only time I'm going to have 4 days without him. So that's going to be I'd much rather do it then, so that, I can be in the hospital for the couple of days, and for those first couple of days, he isn't there for me to want to pick up, but I don't know that it's going to happen that soon, especially if there's like more that needs to be talked about here. So I'll keep you posted, when I hear from them, when I get a pre-op appointment, or when I have my pre-op appointment. Just more waiting, more kind of frustration in that way. Again, the Emily program is much better. I think if you are kind of behind me in this process and you are going through Kaiser, the only recommendation right now that I would have is that it's a much better plan to just go to the Emily program. So if you are given the option, I don't know if it's an option, but if you're given the option to bypass Sarah Minor and just get an evaluation through the Emily program, that's what I would do. All right. I've got some shopping to do and the rest of my day, but I am back on the pre-op diet. Last I checked, I have about 8 pounds still to lose to be where they want me to be. So I might have to pick it up here if I can get a pre-op date soon. I might need to, work extra hard at losing that. We'll see. All right.